Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to The King's Speech. Apologize if my voice sounds a bit raspy. I just finished recording an hour of Battle Angel Alita, and we're going to dive into estimate about an hour or so to finish the last half of the second volume. So I'm not going to get into too much other stuff here before I dive into it. I'll just tell you to look at the video previous to this to kind of get my thoughts on recent stuff. All I will reiterate is please continue to support and boost the Black Lives Matter movement. Donate if you can still. If not, boost the links for fundraisers, GoFundMe, bail funds. Boost all the information about all the events and protests that are happening right now. Please do stay safe. We have to keep this momentum going. Really appreciate everyone's understanding and support with everything that's been happening and going on, and with my hiatus this last week. Really do love and appreciate you all. So with that said, let us dive back into Battle Angel Alita with Chapter 31, Round and Round. And you see this little drone bot that's picked up Niz's little robot body, he's bringing him back. And the children are coming up going, he's here, Mr. N! Jeff, don't touch him, you'll get burned. And Jeff, Dr. Mazor, will Niz be alright? Dr. Mazor goes, he's been beaten badly again, but he'll live. His brain is intact. And you see Saya going, see, everything's okay, Rio. And you see the older of the girls, I went to see Niz in the first place, cries out, I don't want to do this anymore, just stop fighting. And Saya's like, Rio. It's like, oh. And you see Cerula coming down the stairs, and she goes, so, Niz is back. You have Director. And Saya's like, where have you been? And Cerula's like, your name was Saya? And you see the kid just kind of hiding, cowering behind her. Like, she goes, yes. And Cerula's like, well, Saya, your job is to protect and take care of the children. I have other duties, you see? And Saya goes, she's such a mystery. She's not even kind to the children. Can she really be the woman who founded the Stellar Nursery Society? We go back to the announcer chat as he goes, Zex was about to finish Niz off when Chu Sang stepped in and helped him escape. What an outrage! And Hopper goes, hasn't Zex ever heard of a warrior's compassion? You see Vish as Chu Sang has her back turned to Zex as she's watching Niz be taken away. And she goes, by the way, do you have a child? And Zex is like, you moron, I'm an android. He grabs the Titan blade as he flips up and goes, of course I don't have kids. And as he tries to slam the blade down on Chu, she just kicks it with her feet and diverts it so it slams to the ground next to her. She goes, I see. In that case, I can kill you without remorse. Oh, I love that face. Oh, and you see as the Titan blade slams to the ground with a VIP, and you see Zex is trying to pull it out. And you see what? As Chu's just casually standing on it. And you see a wud as she kicks Zex right in the chest. And you see another wud as she slams her foot into the ground. Oh, what the hell is that? Two moves at once. Okay, so she kicked Zex right in the chest and slammed her foot in the ground with the same movement. And then grabs Zex by the throat and pulls him in. And you have Zex going, gah! As he tries to punch. And she kind of just does a rotating wrist move and kind of flips, diverts Zex's attack. Then goes around and lays in a flurry of blows, one to the throat, one to the flank, and one to the back of the head in quick succession. And as Zex is falling, he grabs onto the Titan blade, kind of kicks behind him at Chu, who just kind of, Chu Sang, who kind of blocks his legs with both hands. And then does another flurry of punches, one to the lumbar vertebrae, one to the solar plexus, and one to the medulla oblongata. And she's like, yeah! And Jack's like, what was that? And she's round and round in a breathless flurry of attacks. Chu Sang is still walking the blade. And you see just a bunch of acrobatics as Zex is trying to lash out and Chu's just not having any of it. And you have Hooper going, that spiral motion, it must be Baguazhang. Yeah, Bagua Zhang is a martial art created by Dong Haichuan in the late Qing dynasty. You have Niazhang is a way to counter an enemy's attack by maintaining bodily contact in battle. By moving with the flow of the opponent's movements, power can be deflected and controlled. And you see Jack White, how does she stay on? And Hopper goes, not even Yan Zhang explains that. Anti-grav boots? As if. And you have Cerullo watching and commenting. He has done his homework, that TV fellow. It is a type of Bagua Zhang, modified for deep space combat. Since Chen Sui Jing relies on gravity, it was useless under 0G. We needed a way to adhere to a target with Van der Waals forces. And that is the true form of Ahat Mustad. And Saya's like, wow, you know so much. Cerullo's like, of course. I was the one who taught Bagua Zhang to the founder of Ahat Mustad, Wang Jing. And Saya's like, how old is she again? And you have Chen Sui Jing is a technique to increase the force of a blow by dropping one's center of gravity. Though the term is Chinese, all combat sports developed on Earth include this principle. Again, I apologize because I'm going to be butchering a lot of these names. When you have Van der Waals forces is the force between atoms. It's thought that geckos use this force to climb walls. And you see, as this is continuing, Chu sends Zex flying into the wall with a wham and a crash. It's like, ah! Use her foot to send the blade flying after him as he slams into the wall. Zex just moves it barely in time as the blade lands next to him. And Zek's like, none of my attacks seem to connect. This old egg might even be better than Alita in close combat. And Chu's like, what's this kid's body made of? It's like I'm hitting rubber. And he sees Zex grabbing the Titan blade as he's wobbling to his feet, and he goes, spend too much power on the quench gun. I've got another minute at most, so... He goes, bring it on, as he takes his arm and starts flipping the blade around him. He goes, over and over, I've seen Alita overcome her limits and end up stronger. I've got to be able to do that too. And you see a crick as Zex has used the blade to slice up the wall behind him. And you see Chu just dodging out of the way as the pieces of rubble start landing. And Zex is like, yes, I did it! As he goes behind, Zex uses the rubble for cover and is gone behind Chu and is ready to attack. And he goes, Zextra Angriff! As he tries to hack the blade at her, she just dodges out of the way and comes in for the rush and blocks his arm in his face at the same time. He goes, knew that was next. And Zex is like, how did she get in the spin radius of my blade? And you see her grabbing the arm in his face and going, take this! Ahat Mustad ultimate technique, Chu Zhao, spinning dragon king flip. And I think the pictures will do a better job of explaining it than I do. As you see the spinning tornado, and you see Zex just getting sent flying up and then coming to a roll and just rolling out of the rolling on the ground. And you ask, shit, what was that? And you see Professor Zex pushed himself to the limit, but he's fallen before the might of Captain Chu Sang. Such Shang Si Jing. She gave her own twist to Bagua Zhang's blue dragon flip. Jeff, she did it! Mom is so strong! As Saya's watching this and clapping with all the children. And Cerullo's watching this silently before she goes, Saya, why did we enter the Zot? And Saya's like, to win! When we win, they'll make us a commonwealth. There, the children can live in peace. And Cerullo's like, do you really think we can win this thing? Saya's like, sure, of course I do. Cerullo's like, hey, such hope. Did you know that in the century-long history of the Zot, no team except the seeded Jupiter and Venus teams has ever won? The format and rules are all tailored to give the major countries an advantage, and the winning team always declines the Commonwealth prize. The Zot is a mock war meant to display the prestige of the major powers. Weaklings like us with no power to wage war. All of our effort is just being used to put on a show. And you have, oh no! So I was like, but if you knew this, why did you enter us in the Zot? And Cerullo's like, so that all of you would die. Saya's just watching her and is taken aback by this as we switch back to the battlefield. As Alita's finally making her move and starts approaching Chu, Goes, so you finally felt like, and then she dodges out of the way as you have a shoe, and you have to fight for your own sake, means to turn the entire world into your enemy. And you see Alita just dashing in as she and Chu start exchanging a flurry of blows. And Alita goes unprepared. And she starts to deflect, but Alita just punches straight through her arm, or she imagines. Oh no, she does. Oh shit. Alita takes no prisoners, god damn. She punches through her arms just with pure force and just punches straight through her midsection with one blow. Oh, god damn, Alita's unprepared to do just that. As we get to chapter 32, not yet. And you see Saya just reeling in shock and about to cry as she's watching this. And Sarula goes, not yet. And you see Chu thinking, my core has been spared. The spine is still attached and my legs still move. And you see Ashley's grabbed Alita by the hand. She starts twisting her around with the high long Quanju. She starts spinning her around in a circle. And as she's spinning her Alita towards her, she's grabbing one of her fingers to aim. I think she's going to try to go through Alita's ear. Oh. And Alita's not having it, as you see. As Alita just rips her hand out with an electrical force and just slices Chu in half. And you see Chu trying to grab onto Alita's collar with one arm. Alita just kind of grabs and puts it down. She goes, it's over. And you see Jack just screaming, Alita wins with a whopping display of force. The savage finish to the mighty Chu Sang. And Hopper's like, so this is the great Alita. And you see Sang's arm was mysteriously shattered as she tried to deflect a punch. Let's see the playback. And he goes, looks like your everyday punch. Not even supersonic. And you have here, Sang goes to parry without adroit timing. Feints with the left to the eyes, but goes for the flank with the right. That's where we see Sang's arm blow up as if a bomb had been planted. Was this a secret Panzerkunst method? And Jack goes, Mr. Hopper, could you tell us more about the Panzerkunst? Hopper goes, Panzerkunst is a martial art said to have been founded by Tiger Sauer during the early Martian colonial period more than 3 centuries ago. The first style to anticipate cyborg combat, the legendary style included techniques to be used in zero-G and against armed opponents. A training colony called Grunthal was built in the Noctis Labyrinthus in the western part of the Valles Marineris. It would leave an outsized mark on the war-torn history of Mars. The name Panzerkunst grew famous across the solar system 200 years ago during the terraforming wars. But with the ceasefire ladder shut down Grunthal, Panzerkunst's secrets were publicly divulged and it ceased to be taught. But the success of space karate and the creation of Ahat Mastad owe a huge debt to Panzerkunst's influence. And yet another take on these events persists, which claims that the only superficial Panzerkunst methods were revealed, and that a master of the true Panzerkunst still lives somewhere in the universe. Jack goes, what a myth. Are you saying that Alita may be the one? And Hopper goes, if that were true, she would be the coelacanth of the combat world. No, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And you see the tow robot has come to pick up Sang. Does Guntroll have any warriors left to fight, or will they have to surrender? And you see Screech and as the bot comes back in, you see the kids just crying and wailing and throwing tantrums going, Gwah! You have, but director, please explain what you meant before. And you have Niz, don't move. As you see Niz trying to get himself out of the little medical bed he's in. It's like, you brought us to the Zot to die? And Cruella goes, you heard me. I didn't expect you to lose in the very first round, though. And you see as Saya's tied a little ribbon around her head, and even with tears streaming down her face, she rolls up her sleeves and she goes, I've got to go avenge Mother. And Cerule's like, Saya, you can't win. And she's like, so? You want us to die, right? Cerula goes, fool. If you die, who will change the baby's diapers? As cursed as the bot with Sang's upper body comes back into the hangar. You have Mother! And Sang's like, sorry, I did my best, but it wasn't good enough. And Cerula tells her it's Plan E now, and hands off a little USB disc to her. Its eyes watching in confusion. Sang goes, "No choice, eh? Well, don't get yourself killed, Cerula." Cerula's like, "Hey, who do you think I am?" And you see a huh? And a wham as Cerula goes running and launches herself out into the battlefield. And you see Aga leaning forward, getting excited as he goes, "Here she is." And Alita's watching in surprise as you see, "She's here, Guntroll's last fighter. But she is Stellar Nursery Society Director Cerula Sangui. We have no data on her, but she seems to be flesh and blood." It's like, it's not that the Zod has never had a flesh and blood entry, but it is the first time one's entered the arena with no armor. And he goes, "She's a beauty, but one blow from Alita and she'll squish like a ripe tomato." He's like, "Sounds like the audience here is ready for a new kind of entertainment." And Cerula goes, "Splendid move, the way you bested Sang. You fired a Verschlag on first contact and destroyed the arm and attacked the body in a single motion. The Herzenadel Übergeheim Nisse known as Herzafahren, a Panzerkunst technique of the Schneider school that was never leaked to the outside world." Alita's like, "I didn't know it had a name. I just did it on the spur of the moment." And Cerula continues, "You are a hoher Krieger at the very least. To think there's still a Kunstler around who I wasn't aware of. Live and learn." And you have the 9 Panzerkunst ranks are Anfänger, which is beginner, Serter, which is enthusiast, Lehrling, which is apprentice, Gezehr, which is war artisan, Krieger, warrior, Hoher Krieger, high warrior, Meister, master, adept, licensed master, and Altermeister, which is elder. And you have Kunstler as artist, a traditional name for Panzerkunst practitioners. And Alita goes, "You know all this, and still wish to fight me?" And Cerula just kind of smiles. As Alita goes, heart rate and breathing both steady. Is she a fool with a death wish, or... And you have the chairman going, "A mortal and a cyborg won't be much of a match. Don't you agree, Mbadi?" He goes, "No, Mr. Chairman. I know this woman Sangui." In one-on-one combat, I dare say that there is no one in this universe to compare. And you see her taking a fighting pose as she goes, "How about it, Alita? Won't you join the gun roll team?" Alita's like, "What?" In the next moment, she's just launched herself forward and punches Alita straight in the gut. And Alita's like, "She caught me off guard." Cerula's, "You're so cute to be tricked by such sweet talk." And you see Alita's getting sent flying back. She's trying to get into a battle pose again. And as she's trying to punch at her, Cerula just kind of fist bumps up for her palm thrust, her arm, and goes in with an elbow strike to send Alita flying back. And he's like, "What? The pins and needles shooting through my body. This is a flesh and blood human?" Cerula's like, "Are you ready to get serious now, little one?" And as she's flying, Alita plants one hand on the ground, and she goes, zzz, and you see her warming up her little plasma claw. She goes, "Don't press your luck." And she comes back up as we get in chapter 33, Not Since That Battle. And you see a whoosh as they exchange blows, and both of them go flipping backwards. And you have this Cerula Sangui is awe-inspiring. Alita's the tiny titan who wiped out the karate master Toji on Leviathan 1 and took down the master Chu Sang. But Cerula Sangui got a clean hit. A Chin Gui Quan wood move, a Baji Quan elbow strike, a Chin Na, she's a master. So you see those are a joint lock technique in Chinese martial arts. The phenomenon of 2 rotational axes of a joint lined up in the same direction, unable to move, and controlling movement of the arm through its extremities. And you have Jack going, "But this is the first time I've seen joint locks used on a cyborg." And Hopper goes, "But didn't you notice? Sang's Hei Long move was a type of Quin Na too, which is the joint lock technique." It's like, it was? It's like, even against a cyborg, joint locks can be quite effective in hand-to-hand combat. It's possible to use gimbal locks to induce inverse kinematic stress in polyarticular arms. Of course, cyborgs aren't a cry uncle due to pain, but you can paralyze them temporarily or even destroy their joints through stress. And you see Alita as she's trying to get up. You see her shoulder joint just creaking and popping. And she gets furious and she goes, "Damn it! She got a one good punch and I flew off the handle." Like, she didn't do any damage, calm down. Still, it's been a long time since my body's been punched through. Not since that battle. And she thinks back, to that one battle with Joskun where he did the same. And she goes, though I can't say that she has a heart-stopping presence of a foe like Joskun. Her technique might be better than mine, but technique alone can't defeat me. Alita just casually gets up, flips her hair, and she's like, you want to see my Panzerkunst? Under one condition. So he was like, oh, and that is? And she goes, you get serious as well. Is that sword a fashion statement? And Strudel was like, hey, aren't we bold? But I don't dislike that about you. She goes, let's see, has it been enough time? And she looks over to the barracks, and Alita looks over as well. It's like, the kids are gone? And yeah, Mr. Embody, the gun troll's trying to escape. And he's like, what? And you see the ship taking off. As you have Sang going, we're wanted by the law, but neither the Union nor Ladder can act while the match is taking place. This was the only way to escape safely. And Niz is like, so she went into battle to give us a chance to break free? And Sang goes, the mean things she said were to get you moving. Try to forgive her. And she sees Sai kind of just pouting, and she's saying to herself, I bet she was half serious. And Niz is like, but where do we go? And Sang goes, our asylum is in this chip. Cerula went through a lot to get it. And you see, Guntroll, we're going to Mars. The Mars Kingdom Parliament has temporary control over Olympus Spaceport. This memory chip also contains data on the flight path. I can fly this myself. And you have Seiya, she wants us to fly into a civil war? And Sang goes, it's not a bad idea. The Union can't catch us there. And you see playing back message from Martian Queen Lemuria. And you see Coney popping up on screen going, to all of you aboard the good ship Guntroll, hello there. And they're always like, a bear? And you see Lemuria popping up and going, the Mars Kingdom Parliament welcomes the Stellar Nursery Society. We deeply respect those of you who risk your lives to help the children. And you see the technician, the called Embody, going, what shall we do, Mr. Embody? He goes, let the small fry be. He looks down and goes, saying we. And she's like, I'm sorry, did I spoil the mood? Don't worry about it. There's no reason for you to fight anymore. Or Alita says, there's no reason for you to fight anymore. Give up. And you see a wham and a wham. And she just puts her arm out. So she throws her arm out and sends like a million little blades flying at Alita. And Alita just managed to knock all of them down and catch some of them. Oh, God damn. And Cerula pulls out her sword and goes, I slew one of your kind long ago, a Kunstler fledgling about your size. But she was hardier than you. Oh, she's pulled out two blades. You have the twin azure blades, Earthlight and Moonlight. And Alita goes, blue blades? And she goes, Rich. And she kind of shudders. What was that? She goes, you're bluffing. No Panzerkunst warrior has lost to a sword. And Cerula goes, then go on, try me. And you see Cerula has drawn twin swords. Chinese swords look flimsy next to those of Japan or the West, but their flexible blades have far more applications. They're not to be underestimated. And you see Alita going, fine, I'll show you. You pissed me off when you looked down on me. And you see Alita clasping her hands as she pulls out two little blades out of her wrists. And she goes, and now that I can't hear the children crying, I can fight all out. And Cerula goes, good. She goes, 8-block death gate array. She launches herself in a circle towards Alita, and the sword just grazes past Alita. And he's just jabbing at her as Alita's just barely dodging. She goes, I can see it. Pretty quick for flesh and blood, but not even a third of my top speed. And you see Alita countering with a chi as she tries to go for Cerula's extended arm. And you see that Alita's blade gets deflected as Cerula kind of does a circular motion around her, whips it around and cuts Alita. And you see them exchanging some blows before they separate. And you have their evenly matched offense and defense. They're moving so quickly it's impossible to see what they're doing. And you see Cerula going, the Elbogen Blot of the Mauser School. What a delight, thank you. And you see a skeet as Alita comes to a stop. And you see a bunch of miniature cuts all over her. It just looks like it's exuding some electricity. As Alita goes, why? I should be much faster than her. She can't be. And Cerula brings up her swords again and goes, give it up. Alita's like, that's it. I may be able to read the timing of my opponent's attacks, but she can see the type and angle of attack too. A single attack alone is useless against her. And you have Aga commenting, the vampire eye. Sangui was born with the ability to see the neural pulses flowing through her enemies. It's enough to offset the speed handicap. And yet, and you see a fwing as Alita launches herself off the platform and starts bouncing around. Cerula bouncing off the walls. And you see Cerula just crossing her blades as she waits. And you see Alita doing a spin as she just starts spinning. As she grinds the blade on her, Cerula deflects so she bends backwards. And you see, I have to throw her off with a combination of moves. I can do this. And you see Cerula commenting 6 steps to the left. Yeah, with a flesh and blood body, she will get tired. And that'll be my chance. Naga continues, what makes her truly terrifying is not her sixth sense or her kung fu. It's her insight. She has an accumulated 700 years of peerless battle experience packed into her mind, which gives her a superhuman ability to hypothesize. She uses her environment, her opponent's strength, and even personality to see 100 moves ahead. Alita's already caught in the Badwan Zimizen, the gate of death. The chairman goes, 700? But Methuselahization was only invented 200 years ago. And you see again Cerula and Alita exchanging a bunch of blows. And as Alita comes to a stop, she goes, what is this? For a while I felt memory stirring deep within me. I know the sword style. And you see... Oh, boy. You see Cerula launching herself out. She goes, this is it, your death gate. And you see where Alita is. There's the symbol for death just scrawled behind her with a giant doom. And Alita's like, I remember. She has cut me down before. And she starts to panic as she dodges, and Cerula just manages to cut half her face off and send it flying. Oh. So get to chapter 34, I believe them. And you see Aga continuing, sever the 8 gates of heaven, earth, and man, and at the death gate cut. This is the eighth severing death gate form, a name not for a single move but a tactic. It removes coincidence, heaven, other interests, earth, and the enemy's mental state. Man luring the enemy into her death gaze where certain doom awaits. Not even a master can escape it. You have but. Cerula launches herself off a wall, comes to a stop in this pose, Alita's face goes flying. And she sheathes her sword and goes, whew, now I'll have to think of a way to escape. And you see, what? What's going on? You see Cerula pinging as you see this ominous looking Alita approaching her from behind. And she goes, what? And she dodges out of the way as Alita just launches forward with a strike that just blows apart the walls behind her. And Cerula goes rolling. And you can see when she gets up, she's all bloodied. It's like, but how? I know I cut her down. And you see Alita just going, ha, ha, ha. And you see that she's completely unhurt. And Cerula's like, I even heard her head fall to the ground. How could she possibly be? And you see Cerula's bleeding. What happened? It's like, let's see that again. It's like she used plow to cut death on the wall in Chinese beforehand, which means she planned to trap Alita here all along. But look here, where you see Chinese throwing knives. Cerula sees a perfect opening but slices through thin air and lands as if she's done. Alita, on her knees, still shaking, comes to her senses with a punch. Cerula dodges. What happened there? And Alita's still kind of in a cold sweat, goes like, I was sure you cut through me. I tried to run, but in my panic, I froze. My will jumped ahead, and you sliced it, not me. If my body had kept up, I'd be dead. And Cerula's like, I see. What I cut was her will. And Alita goes, there's one thing I have to be sure of. The Panzerkunst girl you slew before, it was me. And Tsuruo's like, what? And she goes, I was called Yoko. Even now I can't remember, but I know that 200 years ago, I was at Githeri's alone. I was cut and captured by someone in armor wielding twin swords. And you see Tsuruo going, I heard that girl was charged with causing the Kamran tragedy and was sentenced to be thrown into the atmosphere. You're still alive? Alita's like, Kamran? Did I? And Tsuruo's like, now that you mention it, I do see a resemblance. But the look in your eyes is different. That girl had the sharpness of a razor, fragile and dangerous. It came from her purity. And you see an image of Yoko as she goes, but your eyes are those of any human. They are the eyes of a woman who's seen sorrow and joy. What a twist of fate, to meet again after 200 years and not even know your name. She goes, no, not fate. Malachi, was this what you wanted? Well, you stand there confused. As you see Aga just kind of doing his evil pose up in his little chamber. He goes, Sangui, Alita, your combat abilities are praiseworthy indeed, but you still do not know true power. You both stand against ladder, and yet on my authority you will kill each other. Compared to that, a single warrior is worthless. This is real power. Tsuruo draws out her swords again and goes, so, you're here 2 centuries later for a rematch. I warn you, my technique is perfect. You will be slain at the Death Gate. Alita's like, a rematch? Of course not. All I remember is wrenching fear. Totally misjudged this woman's strength. I don't understand how strong she was until just before I was cut down. Excuse me, just a little sip of water. You can see Alita just kind of shaking in fear and sweating. She goes, to put it bluntly, she's on a whole other level. Even now, I'm not ready to face her. I want to run. But a Kunstler never flees from an enemy. And that's the one rule I decided never to break. But it's like I can hardly stand. You can see her just shaking. Tsuruo goes, do you know why it was so easy to herd you into the Death Gate? It was poke here, you move there. Say that, you get angry. Tug there, you get cocky. Combine your spinal conditioned reflexes and you're just moving automatically. In that sense, most humans are the same as animals or robots. They never change their ingrained reflexes, and even if they do figure out the trick behind the Death Gate, they can't break free. And Alita goes, are you saying human free will is an illusion? You may insist that you may insist that you use your head, but before you think, your body makes the decision. The head merely confirms and follows. But we do hear, in rare cases, of human beings being fully aware of the self and the world, and thus able to make true choices. Such a person would escape my technique, and on that day, the Baruan Zimizen will be truly broken. And so I live on dreaming of that day to come. Alita goes, in other words, I haven't made any progress in 200 years. And Tsuruo goes, my moves are flawless, but as a result, anyone, no matter how young, who faces my swords and survives, would have a destiny beyond knowing, so I believe. And Alita goes, destiny? I think that's right. If that had been real, I would have died back there. That's not all. Things like this have happened many times before. I haven't survived on my own strength alone. And if there is such a thing as destiny, there's no reason to worry about life and death. All I can do is fight with all my soul. And you see this aura just emanating off her as she takes a battle stance. Tsuruo goes, what nice eyes. She knows human joy and sorrow. She knows fear and her own limits. Yet she hasn't lost her edge. She is no disposable razor. She's a finely honed blade. Yes, that's just what she is. They both take a pose as they both launch themselves at each other. And you see astral decoys versus demon sword. as you see the projections of all the moves and things that they're considering, as you see them exchanging a flurry of blows. And you see the sword heading towards Cerula. Or you see Cerula's sword heading towards Alita as he goes, so it's no use. And you see a tick as Cerula kind of bends her sword and it curves around Alita's face. And Alita's able to use that opportunity to stab her blade into Cerula through the chest. And you see as she's bent over and Alita stops the bow, she goes, why did you miss? Cerula goes, destiny beyond knowing. That's what my swords told me, and I believe them. And she snaps off one of her earrings and puts it in Alita's hand and goes, your friend, give him this. It may help with his hacking. And Alita goes, do you know what we're trying to do? And Cerula kind of just smiles at her before she pushes herself off of Alita's blade in a gout of blood. You have Alita wins this fierce battle. The Space Angels go to round 2. As we get to the next page, soon to the next chapter, and you see Aga walking toward the Zot participant morgue. And you see the guard that was supposed to be on duty is not there. He's got a steaming cup of coffee. And so Aga's considering something as he walks in there. And you see chapter 35, Then I Can Go Home, where you see the corpses of all the participants laid out on these slabs. And you see him heading down the steps and going to a body covered by a sheet that says, Name Cerula Sangui, Team Stellar Nursery Society Control. He rips the blanket off, and of course, it's the guard who's supposed to be at his post, completely drained of his blood, looking like a withered little mummy lying on the slab. And Aga's just like, heh. As you see, Space Angels Base Camp Cargo 502. Jeff, you kidding me? Deckman 100, what do you mean you can repair Alita and the bunnies, but not me, huh? And Deckman's just crying. He's like, body structure too unique, Master Zex, is beyond my capabilities. And Zex is like, I can't be the only one who has to drop out after the first round. And you hear, don't worry about that. I'll fix your body, alright? It's part of the service agreement. Forget about the cannon on your right arm. It rules the overall balance, don't you know? And you have, old man, what are you doing in theories? And you have, who? It's like, I'm Yanni, the cyber tech. And you have Dorosi, the assistant. And you see Yanni coming up to work on Zex as he goes, I saw your match. You got some grit, boy. And good instincts. You're only the second one who's been able to learn to handle a Physiroid body in such a short time. And Zex is like, that's so. And Yanni goes, you passed the first test, but there's so much potential in the Physiroid body. You want more of that superpower stuff. I know you do, but you gotta agree to one condition. You can see him just gritting his face as X is like, what? He's like, I'm broke. Yanni's like, easy as pie. If you win and get that Commonwealth status prize, you just promise to shelter the two of us as honorary citizens. Tax exempt, of course. And you have Grossi going, ladder in the orbital union regulate reverse engineering, so we can't even publicize Physiroid tech. The civilian tech tax is an arm and a leg. Yanni's getting mad. He's like, if we install peacekeepers, Katheras will make us exempt. As if. And Zach's like, fine, it's a deal, but will I be ready for the match tomorrow? And Yanni's like, if we pull an all-nighter, sure. And Zach's like, so, what's a tax? Yanni's like, it's like extortion. And you see this earring is a multiple wavelength holographic memory device. And you see that Ping's put in a little machine to kind of understand it. He goes, capacity is 2.3 terabytes. Its format and codec are from the great pioneering years. The 200s or so, badly out of date. He's like, can you read it? He's like, duh. Malachi and the core systems for the planetary governments still use the old protocols. Like, see? Password prompt. Well, what was the earring owner's name? And she says, Cerula Sangui. So it means blue blood in Latin. Blue blood might also mean nobility. Let's look up some variations. It's like, okay, we got a hit. Chinese for blue princess. We see him opening up and he's like, whoa. And he kind of breaks off and Brett's like, whew. He's like, so it really exists, damn it. Alita's like, hey, there's an amateur here. What are you talking about? What's inside this earring? And you see Ping saying, there's a program saved in his memory, but not just any program. It's Fata Morgana, the lost key to Malachi. And you see Fata Morgana is a mirage or illusion named after the enchantress Morgan Le Fay of Arthurian legend. Alita asks, will it be useful when we rescue Lou's brain? He goes, oh yes, breaking through security will be a snap for us now. But there's more to it than that. This is the mother lode, a gift from the gods more like. It's like, hey, I searched for this robo-asshole for 100 years. Never thought I'd get hold of it here. And you see Leah grabbing the earring as Ping goes, what are you doing? And she goes, don't get the wrong idea. This was given to me, Ping. She goes, well, you want to borrow it? And Ping's just annoyed that she's extorting him. As he's like, so what's your condition? Alita's like, I figured a scoundrel like you would catch on quick. She goes, we stick with the Zot. Fight until our team loses. And he goes, so you want to try and win it? And she goes, yes. He goes, I knew she'd say that sooner or later. He's like, I was planning to shut her up by threatening to abort. But I want the Fata Morgana. I gave up 100 years of my life to find it. He goes, if you want my opinion as a professional thief, trying to steal Lou's brain and win the Zot would make our chances of completing our mission and escaping vanishingly small. If you want my opinion as a professional fighter, we won't need to escape. We just need to win and stroll right out of here. And Ping goes, how can you be so optimistic about our chances? What an ego. What do you think, Prof? And he pulls out this little device. And he's like, what's that thing? God. And you see, long time no see, Alita. You see Destiny Nova, the Pokedex. He goes, my memory skips at the point when Mr. Roscoe killed me, but Mr. Ping has filled me in. And he goes, I've had help on the hack job. We call it the Porta Nova. It's like, Tiny is in. And Alita's like, don't put any limbs on that thing. And Nova goes, why not do it Alita's way? If this Fata Morgana is as you hypothesize, you may be able to use it as an ace in the hole. Nothing is more amusing than watching people cross a dangerous bridge. And you see the slot day 3, round 2, first match. Yes, it's the Space Angels versus the Starship Cult's Charisma Magic Troupe. Led by star magician Mathers Hofang, the cult was based at the lunar theme park Crystal Castle, until it was charged with using hypnosis to instigate suicide and murder. Bacon, the human cannon, was lost in round 1. The round 2 sample will be the master of Indian black magic Darbanga, who's already making quite a spectacle of himself. Alright. Kishiro, I don't know what you want me to say about that, man. Like, that fits into some very, very unfortunate stereotypes. And you see, over to the Space Angels, who had an unexpectedly rough time in round 1. Have Alita's teammates had time to recover? And you see, hey, you old bastard, the match is starting! And you see, inflatable Zex has been blown up to a massive size. As Yanni goes, well, don't rush me. I switched out the colloidal polythene solution circulating to the Physiroid body for a super heavy type and reinforced the pumps. You'll weigh twice as much, but your power should increase 5-fold, and shock resistance should improve 30-fold. He goes, do it, Dorosi. He's like, okay, boss. 3, 2, 1, implode. And you see a shoom and ook. As you see an mini explosion going off inside Zex, and the machine's going off. And you see a blorp as Zex just gets even fatter. It's like, damn, try to make an effort here. Zex is like, easy for you to say. And he asks, could you buy us 10 minutes or so? And you see Elfin Zwolf going, just leave it to us. And you have the Space Angel Sempower here. It's like, what's this? 2 Alitas? Which is the real one? I can't tell them apart. And you have Zex just watching them going, don't they have any pride? As you see, Elf and Zwolf have disguised themselves as Alita. And like, Alita's rep will help us out with them all. See how the crowd loves us? Like, they seem a bit nice for Alita. It's like octopus lips. It's like, have to think sullen. Because they're doing their best Alita impersonation. And you see on the next page, Ping goes, the match is starting. Begin infiltration mission. As you see Alita suited up, stepping outside the ship, going thinking, why did Cerula have the lost key to Malachi? And why did she give it to me? What is Malachi anyway? And why was Yoko alone in Katheri's 200 years ago? So this mission is going to answer a lot of questions. Now, as you see you're stepping outside the ship, you see the silhouette of Colonel Payne popping up again as he goes, your fear, I can see it. Some memories are too painful to recall. It might be best to leave them unremembered. Don't you agree? Alita's like, I just want to be straightforward. My memories always split in two. Some Yokos and some Alitas. When I fill the 200-year gap, link it all into one. At last, I can be whole. And then, perhaps, I'll be able, she thinks back to Ito. She thinks back to Ito and to Lou and to everyone else that she remembered. And she goes, I'll be able to go home. As she's walking on the space edge. She got chapter 36, I walked here before. And you see her hoisting this box with this little F symbol on it and goes, by the way, what am I supposed to use this box for? You have Ping going, did you know what it was when you gave it to me? And the leader's like, nope. It was, I knew it. Great. So I'm surprised this is just a brain in a box. You see the leader going, whose is it? He goes, how should I know? Worthless. My own fault. Got all excited before checking inside. It's like, Prof, what is it? And he goes, I've never seen it before. Must be something created by the Nova who was captured by Trinidad. Nova 2. I have no way of knowing what whims I might have. Have to ask Nova 2. And Ping's like, oh, you're really some kind of genius. He goes, well, let's put it to use. We need some kind of recovery receptacle. The brain can be loose standing. Don't lose it. He goes, hold on, we've got company. 2 security officers ahead. Go to stealth mode. Well, he's just like, will do. And you see her starting to go invisible as the camouflage kicks in. And you have optical camo and electromagnetic infrared stealth systems enabled. Things have gotten so much easier. If I'd had this on Mars, optical stealth isn't foolproof. Don't get the sun behind you and don't use backpack thrust either. And you see a Vizak. So your stealth is going out. It's like, hey, you too. As you see the 2 guards above trying to figure out what's happening as the leader just sneaks in between them. Like, did it go bust? And you see his little arrow path laid out like a guiding light as he goes, follow the arrows on your screen. That's the tether robot. There's a monomolecular wire to the onion frame. Use your winch. Be careful. If any part of your body is more than 50 centimeters away from the wire, you'll touch the scalar field and get flung off. And you see Alita just invisibly hooked up as she's climbing up this huge tether. And you have that rope's going after the Alitas to the tune of Darbanga's strange flute. But keep in mind that the pre-math check confirmed the rope isn't an autonomous robot. And you see the round 2 Space Angels versus the Starship Cult as the Indian stereotype. Man, it's a little disappointing we got an Indian snake charmer stereotype. What you see in plain is this rope's whipping around and the Alita clones are dodging. And you have, it's got Dark Alita. And so it's up into the air with Dark Alita. It's like, wait, how high is that rope going to go? Since when did black clouds appear overhead? It's like, and she's gone into thin air. It's like, Wolf can't shout her name. It's like, they'll find out who we are. What would Alita do? It's like, oh. And you see the guy putting his flute back into his loincloth. As he does the sword swallower's trick and pulls out this sword. And Light Alita goes, be a man, or Elf goes, be a man and fight me. And he just gives her this creepy grin that makes her shiver as Darbanga climbs the rope holding a strange sword in his mouth. White Alita goes after him. This is like Jack and the Beanstalk. And yes, it's the Indian rope trick. Yeah, oh my god. It's like the what? Like several historical magic tricks remain unexplained. This is one. Performed outdoors at dusk, a boy apprentice climbs a rope into the clouds and the magician follows with a knife. The crowd hears a cry and the boy's body falls from the sky. The magician climbs down, puts the pieces of the boy into a basket, says the magic words, and the boy is whole. And you have Indian rope trick is an Indian trick passed down from ancient times. First described by Ibn Battuta, Ibn Battuta, the Arabian traveler in 1346. More recently, it was performed in London in 1934. And you have Jack going, but in the Zot, it's kill or be killed. He doesn't say the magic words then. Like, yep, scary to think about. It's like in the meantime, both of them vanish from sight. A hush falls over the crowd as we wait with bated breath to see what will happen. We change back to Alita, who was on top and was, I made it, but looks like it's been sealed off. He's like, say what? That Lada Nana must be behind this. It's like, beep boop, Alita, hook up that cable. And you see, Ping Wu, why did you come back? There's no longer a home for you in Robo-Asil. Ping goes, I don't have any business in Robo-Asil. I just wanted to get into Catheres. I won't cause you guys any trouble. Will you let us pass? And Landa goes, denied. Your actions may well disrupt the function of Catheres. He said, come on, don't be so cold. I'm your friend, all right? It's like, once, yes, but no more. It's like, damn it. If we can't use the bot entrance, our plans are ruined. Our only options are the front entrance and the waste disposal chute. And you see, hey, Alita, what's up? It's like, where are you going? And she goes, this way. She goes around to a side entrance. And Ping's like, no, hey. And Destiny goes, Mr. Ping, the wheel of her karma has begun to spin. Kindly watch over her. So you see Alita going around. And she goes to this little unexplored section, like side panel. And she rips it back. And he's like, hey, watch it. He's like, huh? Maintenance hatch here? You see a clunk as Alita opens it, get inside. And she goes, there's air. Activate your sound stealth. Unbelievable. Never imagined there'd be a secret access point here. And this is an old area from before the big repair job. It's not on any maps. How'd you know about it? And Alita goes, I walked here before. A long time ago. And he's like, huh? It's like, now we're in this corner, and as she goes around the corner, she sees just a severed arm. And she's peeking around the corner, and there's someone that looks a lot like Alita with a blade facing off against some invisible soldiers in the inside. And you have Ping, can you see this? It's like, see what? It's just an empty hall, what's wrong? And you see Nova going, calm down, Mr. Ping. Alita's memory is most likely flashing back. Oh, that's what it is, alright. It's like, memory? These are my memories? Then, is that Gelda? It's like, no, wrong body. And you see the blade just slicing through as the mysterious figures doing kind of capoeira moves and using their hands to spin and kick as body parts go flying. You see Alita reacting in surprise at the absolute carnage that's taking place in this call. So we get to in this hall, not call, chapter 37. Who are you? We see just viscera flying everywhere as the carnage is continuing, and more viscera. Then you see Alita watching this, commenting, it's artistry. And you see more and more and more carnage. His heads go flying, and you see just, absolute carnage as she kills the last one. And she's like, it's perfect. Simple, merciless, and beautiful. This is it. Pure, unadulterated, true Panzerkunst. And you see the person taking off their mask as Alita reacts in surprise and goes, wait! And you have Ping going, hello there. He's like, hey, get a grip. And he's like, Ping, hey, no need to tell me any. And Ping goes, no need to tell me anything. Whatever happened before, keep it to yourself. What's important is what's really happening right now. And Destiny's like, but I want to know, tell me! And Alita's like, okay, thank you. And Ping goes, this isn't the route we planned. I don't have any maps for this area, so the support I can give you will be limited. Think you can keep following your memories? Jav, I'll try. As you see younger Alita dressing up in a maid's outfit, she's infiltrating she's infiltrating Tufari's. Yeah, is this really some kind of flashback? I feel like I'm watching video of someone I've never met. Yoko, like what belief led you here? How did it feel to tear that flesh? What did the blood smell like? Did you shudder with joy when you killed that man who was begging for his life? Weren't you afraid? Weren't you lonely? Didn't you have any regrets? Did you say a proper goodbye to the ones dear to you? This was Yoko's final mission after all. You have central core block enclosure. As you have Alita walking in, you have someone going, "You there, spirit." And Alita goes, "Ping, was that voice real, or have I lost it?" He goes, "No, it was definitely real. Sounds like a password. Stealth guards, maybe they're offline. I can't pinpoint their location. At least they can't report us right away." He goes, "Try to talk your way out." So Alita replies back, "Opportunity." Then you hear Schwert, sword, and Shaida, scabbard, and Gewehr, gun. And Alita responds with Traum, dream. It's like, that was the Panzerkunst code. And she sees another flashback two invisible soldiers come and kind of grab her shoulders and force her to kneel. And she fights back and explodes one of them. And sends the other one flying. And you see it's just a robot. She goes, "No, it wasn't them." Someone puts her hand behind her head. And she flips them over. And her attack comes loose. As Alita's mask goes up and she goes, "He slipped through my invisible attacks and hit the override switch. I knew it, And the invisible figure goes, "Oh, girl. You're the kid who beat Cerula in round 1 of the Zot. Alita, was it? That Panzerkunst is a real deal. Who taught you?" Well, that's odd. You look a lot like someone I knew a long time ago. A woman they called the most evil felon in the history of Panzerkunst. And Alita goes, "Who are you?" as we have to be continued. It looks like we just have a bunch of, so it's just a bunch of bonus manga at the end. Alright. I keep cliffhangers like that, but it's almost perfectly an hour, so I guess that's perfect timing for this volume. So again, not too much plot progression, but I love that we're now kind of diving more into Alita's backstory and her past as she discovers more of who she is. And I love Cerula, everything about her aesthetic, her fighting style, her design. I just loved all of it. And I'm so happy that we're probably going to get to see her again at some point in the future. Cannot wait for that reunion match again. Man, I think the most interesting part of this volume was definitely this idea of, like, the soul leaving Alita's body, or will, or whatever you want to call it. And Cerula being, like, mistakenly cutting that illusion and thinking she cut Alita herself. So I wonder, for a series that is very sci-fi and tech heavy, how it's going to kind of explore that idea of the soul and memories and things like that, the more spiritual aspects rather than, the more physical. So I'm kind of interested in what, if anything, Kishiro Sensei has to say about that. It should be interesting once we get into it. Kishiro, I don't know what he was thinking with kind of the Indian stereotype of, the mystic man or the fakir, or whatever you want to call it, like the snake charmer and all that. Yeah, I feel like you really could have done without that kind of stereotype in this. Like, I know it's maybe like, oh, he's making fun of, the old-timey circuses and all that, but it didn't feel like he was making fun of it. It felt like he was really too much into it. But that really is kind of a blip in the representation, so I'm not going to ping him too hard on that. Otherwise, I've really enjoyed Last Order Volume 2. I'm probably going to dig back into the previous volumes, sort out some politics as I put an order in for the next few volumes. So hopefully I get those out the next few weeks. In the meantime, I'll have Lazarus and Vinland Saga read-throughs coming up for your entertainment. And until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.